let's move it on to the last story of the night, and that is the MLB All-Star Game, the Summer Classic. I don't really understand this game because it's supposed to mark the mid-season, but yet it always happens like 2-3 weeks after the middle of the season.
It also just seems early to me for an All-Star game. Like, it makes more sense to me the way the NFL does it. The Pro Bowl is right, even though no one really cares that much. It happens after you've seen everyone play a full year, and the only thing left to do is the championship.
But you do realize that the NFL is the only sport that does that. Basketball, hockey, and I believe even soccer do it in the middle of the season.
Well, the NFL is America's real sport, so maybe they're doing something right. Maybe
they
got a better idea here. Maybe everyone else should take some hints.
I think that the reason that the NFL does it at the end instead of in the middle is because it's such a more physical game than those other sports, so they wouldn't want to risk in the middle of the season somebody getting injured.
Also, the NFL is a very strict, we play once a week system, and they can't take off a week to do this. So to do
and they already have their bye week.
Which they have that. Yeah, they have that 1 week right there between the Super Bowl and the championship games to already fill up. So they're like, yeah, that makes sense. But,
yeah. So let's run down the rosters, and we'll start with the American League. Starting at first base will be the Detroit Tigers' Miguel Cabrera. I can't say that. At second base, you have Robinson Cano, the guy who was a great player for New York, now plays for Seattle. Shortstop goes to Derek Jeter. Now, Derek Jeter hasn't had the best year, but he is retiring after the end of this year. And so, I mean, as a Lifetime Achievement Award, he deserves to start in the MLB All-Star Game as shortstop because that guy
I'm actually surprised that he's still around, to be honest. I thought he was already out. But
19 years, I believe. He started his career in 1995 with the Yankees, so he's been around for quite a long time. I mean, that guy's, I think this is his 15th All-Star Game. I mean, that's amazing. So 15 out of 19 years you're an All-Star.
That's we see a Hall of Fame career right there.
I think I see the Hall of Fame in his future. I'm going to go out on a limb and say that Derek Jeter will be in the Hall of Fame. I know it's risky. I know, but I think he'll be there. So, and then we go to third base. You have Josh Donaldson from Oakland. Then in the outfield, you have Adam Jones from Baltimore, Mike Trout from the Angels, and Jose Bautista from Toronto. So you have some pretty darn good players there. And the big winners for the All-Star Game, I believe Baltimore had 3 players for the American League, which is the most out of any American League team, and I think they deserved it. They are in first in their division. I'm missing a player, aren't I? Catcher, Matt Wieters, but he's out due to injury, and so you'll have Salvador Perez from Kansas City replace him there. So that's pretty cool.
It's actually sometimes kind of weird to me. It's kind of weird to me how Baltimore is doing so well, and they've been doing better the last couple of years. But I remember being big fan of the Orioles because we grew up around there, and that was the only team in this area.
Well, we grew up in the D.C. area, and
but there was no Nationals.
Yeah, there was no Nationals until 6 years ago. So
yeah, so Orioles are still, I consider, my team, but I remember going to their games when they were just doing poorly every year, and it's just kind of strange to me now. It's like, oh, they're winning. They're
good.
They're doing well. It's not just been this year either.
Really?
So
it's been the past 3 years. They've been pretty decent. And I forgot to mention Nelson Cruz, another Baltimore player, will be the designated hitter for the American League. And I believe in All-Star games they do the designated hitter depending on which city hosts it, so that is why there will be a designated hitter this year. And I gotta say, Nelson Cruz is maybe, and I'm going to put a big asterisk next to this because it's a big maybe, but he might be the best offseason pickup of all time. Now, I don't know if you know about this guy, but he was a stellar hitter for the Texas Rangers for a long time. He was average something like 30 to 40 home runs a year, great 300-plus hitter. He could steal some bases in his earlier days, 100 RBIs a year, and he was kind of just cast aside. He had some injury problems last year, and he was kind of cast aside by the Texas Rangers. Hell, he was kind of cast aside by the entire MLB, and the Orioles picked him up for a veteran minimum contract. That is the least you're allowed to pay a player who has played that many years in the MLB. So, and he has done amazing. I think he's leading the league in homers. He's leading the league in RBIs. He's above a 300 for a hitter. I mean, he's been spectacular. And so that might go down in history as the greatest free agent signing of all time. Whether it be for just this 1 year or longer than that, he has shown that he is still a force to be reckoned with. So, hey, tats off to Baltimore.
Yeah, no.
Now, my pick for their pitcher, the starting pitcher, I think for the AL it should be Masahiro Tanaka. I'm not 100% sure that that's what will happen, but that guy's been stellar all year, and I think he really deserves it. We talked earlier.
Talked about him previously.
Yeah, and the Japanese invasion, and he's leading the charge. So that guy.
Well, he's definitely helping that trend right now by showing just how good that Japanese league is. Like, it's already been known that they are good, but when you have him coming out of that league and doing so spectacular so quickly in the MLB, that just speaks well more and more for that league. And we've already seen other players come out of there, of course, but wouldn't be surprised if we see a lot more in the next couple of years coming out there.
Yeah, I totally agree because, he's kind of shown that, hey, this is a good league. These are highly competitive players out there. And you know what? They don't mind making the big bucks here in America. So, hey, come on over. If it improves the game, I'm cool with it, I just want to see the best competition. That's why I love American sports, is because we have the best competition in all of our sports in all the world except for soccer. Football, there's no other country that really plays it, so of course we have the best competition. Basketball,
there's a few
the best players
now,
in the world come
as
here.
Big as us.
Yeah, but basketball, all the best players in the world come here to America. Hockey, there's lots of leagues everywhere, especially in Europe and Canada.
There are some competitive leagues for that. Yeah, Canada plays with us.
But still, the NHL is the biggest league for that. So, baseball, I mean, there are more competitive leagues out there than most people realize. It's the best here in America. So, that's why we love to see all the best players come. And we'll pay you big bucks for it. But let's run down the NL rosters. Starting off with first base, we have Paul Goldschmidt from Arizona. Second base, you have Chase Utley from the Philadelphia Phillies. Then third, I skipped shortstop, is Troy Tulowitzki out of the Colorado Rockies. Then you have third base is Armiris Ramirez from the NL leading Milwaukee Brewers. Then the outfielders, you have Carlos Gomez. You have Andrew McCutchen, probably one of my favorite SportsCenter commercials of all time. You know how SportsCenter likes to do those goofy commercials. McCutchen, he plays for the Pirates. And there's a lot of Pirate mascots in the college ranks, not so much in the pros. I mean, you have the Buccaneers and the Pirates. Those are the only two I can really think of. But he has this commercial where they're running a meeting at the ESPN headquarters, and a whole bunch of the Pirate mascots run in, and Andrew McCutchen comes in and goes, yes, because they're stealing all the stuff. And he goes, plunder the locks, because they have bagels and locks, And so they grab all that and they run. You just got to see it. YouTube it. It's up there. It's hilarious.
Sure it is.
Yeah, it is. It's funny, man. I like it. And then we had our superstar sensation from last year, and Yasiel Puig rounding out the outfielders. Now, it's kind of...
So who's on first?
Paul Goldschmidt. Huh? Paul Goldschmidt. Yeah, I get where you're going, but I have an answer, so... But yeah, Paul Goldschmidt is on first. And then I believe their pitcher should be Clayton Kershaw. That guy's been spectacular all year. He did sign the record contract earlier this year, and he kind of has lived up to it. So,
you know who you didn't mention on these rosters? Bryce Harper. But I'm sure he has an opinion about where he should be.
Well, he has an opinion. I should be on center field, and I should bat second in the lineup for the All-Stars, and you should never take me out of the game. And yeah, sorry, Bryce. You have not played. He's missed 50 games out of the 80 played so far, so more than 80. So yeah, you don't get that one. Sorry, but yeah. And then I want to kind of just mention a couple of the snubs, I think, and I will go back to the Washington team. And Anthony Rendon, now this guy is a young player. He is actually, in my opinion, he's been the best Washington National all year. Now this is a first-place team, 9 games above 500. And when you're the best player on that team the whole year consistently, you should be in the All-Star game. And he might make it in with the fan vote. He might not, because he's not the most popular, well-known name out there. But if you haven't voted for your fan choice to get the last player in, vote Anthony Rendon Watch just one Nationals game, and this guy shines. Not only can he hit, but he is one of the best defensive. He plays third base, I think. Third baseman. I shouldn't say I think. I know he plays third base. He's one of the best defensive third basemen out there.
Figure out what position he plays, because if you're confused,
I know what position he plays.
Playing it too well.
I know what position he plays. Third base. Third base. But he also plays second from time to time, and I think he'd make it on the All-Star roster as second, because with some of the injuries that the Washington Nationals have had, they've had to shift him around, which makes him even better. It doesn't matter where you put him.
Now, hold on. Does he play second base because he's supposed to, or because he happens to run a little too far to the left and gets on second base? Nothing?
You might need to womp yourself for that one.
Wasn't even a... Yeah.
Womp it. Womp yourself. You booed me earlier, I'm womping you now. So, yeah, so you need to vote him in. And then from the AL, I believe Coco Crisp should be in. Now, not only is he playing on Athletics, I believe they have the best record in the major leagues right now, but his name is Coco Crisp.
Yeah, how has he not had a major cereal deal?
I don't understand how his face is not on every cereal box ever. Coco Crisp is...
Coco Crisp. It needs to be a new official cereal.
You know, he should be the sponsor for the cereal, or they should sponsor him. He should be the mascot for the cereal, because, yeah, his name is Coco Crisp. I mean, come on. What does a guy need to do to get a contract out there with a cereal company?
Coco Crisps. Come on now.
You can't beat that. But, yeah, so those are my two snubs. So go ahead, jump online, vote them in. They can still be voted in. They should have been already in my opinion, but you can still vote them in. I believe you go to MLB.com and do those voting. But let us know, what do you think about these rosters? Do you think, you know, except for those two snubs, they were pretty well rounded out, or there's some players that shouldn't have been on there? Hell, do you think Derek Jeter deserved to be on there just because he was good for his whole career? You know, let us know. Comments down below. Of course, words to my face on gmail.com. I was going to say at words to my face, and then I kind of screwed that up. I've been doing that a lot tonight. I promise you next week I will be able to speak English properly. Yes, I promise that.
And that's a promise that he certainly cannot keep.
I cannot. I just lied to you, folks. So tell us how much you hate me for lying to you about speaking properly. Comments down below at words to my face on Twitter, words to my face at gmail.com. Of course, Google+. We're there. And Facebook. Hey, we're everywhere.